All right, I'm on you. Yep.
Yeah, we're behind on 5-10 minutes. Okay, you're not plugged in. What's your percentage? Because our bus door would say the car's not charging, which means I need to get a block. So for yours to charge. Oh, mine's at 70. So I don't know. I want to assume the backpack's over where I am and find my own.
Let's go. Let's go. They're throwing the ball up.
Good. We're back here at the Onion Creek Soccer Complex in Austin, Texas, the 2024 USAFL National Championships. We're in the men's Division 2 now. Their opening round is the Houston Lone Stars taking on the Boston Demons. The Demons in the blue jumpers with the red yoke, and the Lone Stars in the red and the blue. Brian Barish back here with Dan Sarbacker for the fourth game in a row, and we're underway here as both the mics and the temperature and the footy, all of that are hot, and we get moving with our fourth game of the day as the ball is up on the far side now, and the ball has gone out of bounds. Going to be a very interesting setup here. Now, we will tell you right at the front, we do not have names and numbers for Boston, so we beg your indulgence. That's their own darn fault. Half Australian, half American. There is, of course, the 50-50 rule where you have to play at least half local players on the field at all times. They are a good side, but Houston, the 8 seed, but they are a pretty consistent side over the last few years.
Brian, when we looked at this division a couple weeks ago for the Nationals reveal, the comments were pouring in. We had a hard time splitting a lot of these sides, and the comments said, Div 2 looks like a bloodbath. That's the one that sticks in my memory, and I think that's 100% right. So kudos to whoever called that. The odds makers are probably having a heck of a time with it. But I'm so excited for this division because I don't think there's much in it, to be honest.
I will tell you that the other teams, the other teams here in just a moment. This was just like the other divisions, the other men's divisions, except for D1 and D5. These are 4-team divisions. This is a Pool B matchup, as we have the San Diego Lions and the DC Eagles in this group. The other 4, you've got the you've got the Baltimore Dockers, the Austin Crows Reserves, or the B team, sorry, the Austin Crows B team, alongside Seattle and Columbus. So it is very much a wide open group. You would think that Seattle, having come very close a season ago, might have the opportunity. Of course, they had that almost great comeback. They fell just 3 points short. But here come the Lone Stars, as getting the ball there is Broderick, who sends this one out further afield to the wing, and the ball goes out of bounds, and we'll have a boundary throw-in right off the bat here.
Some hot tackling here. You just saw evidence of that. The handball movement's been good, so there's some crisp play already. These sides probably not as much stress with a little bit later start in the morning with travel. Houston probably driving in. Boston from the East Coast probably getting here in good nick. So sides probably not as shell-shocked by an early start, and looks like they've had a proper warm-up because their hands are spot on.
And I think coming from the East Coast, you're going back an hour, so it's not off. Ball has gone out of bounds once again. We'll have the large tents there as the ball comes back into play. That is the intense side of the ground, SARS, because there are people over there. Intense. Wouldn't be Nationals if we didn't pay homage to Scott Matheson, my former calling partner. First time I called a full-time calling at Nationals with Scooter. Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to him.
I'm sure he is watching, probably keeping an eye out for his. He played on a couple of teams. I think he said he played for Portland, which is completely random. Also for Columbus as a good mark taken right in front there by Mike. Had an apple-oni sandwich, but
is that apple and bologna?
Maybe that sounds good actually. Apple, bologna, a little bit of
sweet and savory.
Oh yeah.
Maybe like this kick, we shall see.
Maybe whether it will be a
sweet mark. Do we get the savory finish?
As the ball is kicked on the way, and it is through for behind. It's 1-0. We were obstructed there. Our apologies. So on the Watch AFL scoreboard, Houston 1, Boston no score.
Boston a little shell-shocked here. Houston's pressure's been good. Hoping to see exactly what we're seeing right now. Kick to kick for Boston might settle them down, help them build out, but now another intercept mark. Houston's been tough here on that half forward line, not letting them out.
And they're good, very good at hemming the ball in on the half forward line.
But what Houston's going to want to see is, in addition to the pressure they've applied on the field, they want to do it on the scoreboard as well, so they need to convert some of these while they have the wind.
50 meters from the 50-meter on the way. His teammates like it, and so does the goal umpire. And there is the first major score of the game. It goes away to the Houston Lone Stars on the Watch AFL scoreboard. They got a 1-1-7. Boston no score. And the Lone Stars, who had 6 wins during the course of the season against 2 losses, who both of them were at the Super Regionals. My goodness, you know, it's a sort of team they've always just kind of hung around in Division II, and but they're always competitive.
Beautiful kick from the arc there, Brian. Again, the wind pinning that ball to that far side, but he hung that up in the wind, just let that bring it right in through the middle of the goal. 6 points there for Houston.
I'm curious as to how much, you know, we mentioned the effect of the wind really starting to take hold at the end of that last game. We're waiting on updated gust numbers. It's still at 16 miles per hour. The wind, it is going to get, I think, slightly more windier during the course of the day. It is also going to get hotter during the course of the day, as the temperature now up at 80 degrees. Still about taken there by Kyle Kempka. Kempka has the football. Go ahead.
Kempka right in the right spot there as Boston was building forward. He knew the spot to be, drifted right into it as the
side. Going to go up high, and it bounces free. Gets punched. Fists of fury by the 34. I think, no, 25 is Jeff Hampshire. Again, we don't have numbers for Boston, so that don't put their numbers in. So
well, I think their punishment is they don't all that.
I like that idea, yeah. But it is what it is, as the ball is up on the far side now, and the ball going up over the top. It gets meshed around and finally shepherded out of the back. Picking that one up was 25 is Jeff Hampshire. He's been their ruck for the longest time. Helped lead the Demons to glory. 2 champions and another hard-fought game over Sacramento. They played up in D1 last year. They're back down in D2 as this one gets sent down the line. Again, Hampshire is chasing after it. Picking that one up is Fernandez. He was taken down. Coming back the other way in the face of Stevie Johnson. Not that Stevie Johnson, the other one, the Canadian one.
Great tackle there. The Demons forward there was fantastic. Great little hard step to avoid the tackler, but then the pressure coming with the second defender caused the turnover.
Ball comes back now the other way as this one is sent down the line through the hands of Kyle Kempka. That's just a fun name to say if you're a commentator. As the ball goes out, as the ball stays in play, chasing after it once again, there is Jacobus.
Chance Meyer there on the halfback, yes. Fullback line on the far side. Revolution list player for the gym.
Yeah,
he has some leap on him.
He's been a huge get for Houston, and I think this is about his 5th or 6th season. He's been playing for them for some time.
So if you get down that way, look him up. Go have a bite.
I want to eat. Yeah, that sounds good. I could go for some Cajun
Can
food.
You swing by there on the way?
The pilot on the shoulder on my way back and be like, hey, can you stop by Chance's restaurant? But the ball gets set to come back in the play once again. Watch AFL scoreboard shows a 7-0 lead for the Houston Lone Stars here in this Division II. Sarbacker, a guy who's played in many of these. And here come the Lone Stars once again. Inside 50, looking for a mark and not getting him, and Andrew Craig.
Houston to be thrilled up to this point with the ball use they're getting, the forward pressure they're getting, but little things of the 50 arc so they can get the ball more in the guts.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how they adjust to that as the ball gets sent in. Back this year, Cooper's Beer, of course. Visit Austin, our host. Of course, we started to have Aussie Sports USA, which have provided some of the jumpers. Also, the same thing as well with Play Aussie USA as well. So great to have a couple of both with connections. Of course, Wayne Kraska with Play Aussie, and of course the Bishops with Aussie Sports USA, who have done a great job of outfitting and providing equipment to all to get a point out of it, and that takes them. So it's 8-0. Houston now the lead on the Watch AFL scoreboard. Almost 11 minutes going, unofficially, of course.
I mentioned getting pinned into that side. That's the risk, right? Those get that ball more into the middle of the 50 arc where there's easier opportunity.
Ball comes back in the middle once again, and the ball will be kicked in, and it's up with the football now. There's all sorts of humanity in players. It's it's very, 6 footballs, and you're trying to pick out which ones are the ones that you're supposed to be paying attention to.
Yeah, painting the picture for those. And there's another couple sides warming up or cooling down on the boundary. Through and in front of a lot of traffic, so we're sort that out.
Of course, there's a lot of there's a lot of tents being up. You can see the LA Dragons tent that is up there, and as we'll have a ball up in front. We ran a contest this year. Of course, everybody knows the. If you paid attention to our social media campaign, the Baton Rouge Tigers were the best in doing that this season, and they earned themselves a VIP tent, which is over up on the hill, as Boston will have a free kick. They have that. They won 10 footballs. They also have a couple of slabs of Cooper's beer. So good job from them for promoting it. And, of course, it's paid off. They have a full D5 team with 20 players, and they have the 4 women who we saw in the last game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, with the temperatures rising, that VIP tent might be the most valuable part of that reward.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say it's a valuable, important tent. I don't know.
Houston using the wind well here have really pinned the ball in the forward half of the field almost this entire half. Boston really struggling to get the ball forward, but Houston hasn't been able to hit the scoreboard as much as you'd like. So in all, I think you'd say, yeah, both sides are probably getting what they want because Boston's bending, not breaking. Houston's getting most used to the football. But there's not much in this one. Splitting hairs probably between these sides, even though Houston's had the better bit of play.
Absolutely. I mean, it has been pretty close. I mean, it doesn't look like that on the scoreboard. There's a good mark attempt. In fact, I think he's got it. Yeah. It would either be a mark or it would be an
intercept mark there, yeah, from 65 from the Demons. Apologies to his grandmother. We don't have his name because we don't have the numbers.
In front of Simon Craig. We got to come up with a term with that, like a grandmother's apology or something like that.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of folks that are Boston Demons fans hoping to hear their boyfriends, partners, grandsons, sons. Called out, but unfortunately we don't have the team list from those folks.
Yeah, it's milkmen, something like that. It's and we've got unofficially 14 minutes here in this 20-minute term as this one is sent forward. Boston has not really had, of course, they've been kicking against the wind, and we'll see how long this lasts. This one's going to get sent in. One-on-one contest, bounces in front. Oh, good tackle. As the ball gets taken down, one-on-one contest, and this one is going to come up. Long handball goes back. Here they come back the other way through Villajuan as the ball comes down. I'm sorry, Jacobus. As the ball gets headed down, as Meyer was in there, and it's going to be a free kick. As umpire Jeff Person awards it going the other way. They're going to handball it back. Just got his foot to it. Almost through the hands there of Apolloni, who got it with the second bite. He slaloms through, long handball across. Good play as he finds Johnson. Stabby kick on through. Ball drops in front. Going to get picked up and cleared out by the Demons, but a bad over the head of Zabane, and that one is sent back in once again. Going to pick that one up, turns that one away. Knocked around. And the ball goes out of bounds, and we'll have a boundary throw in. The thought occurs to would know everybody is calling the game on the other field.
Yeah,
Bill Robert, of course.
Fair enough. Really impressed with hits the ground. They've been very clean with hands. So you have that pickup, you have a handball and a kick to a contest. That rhythm has been really working for Houston. They've been moving it extremely.
8-0, Houston the lead. These two teams, again, the other two teams in this division that will tell you It is going to be a couple of really strong games, as there was a good contest in front of it, and winning that one out was Enda Ralph. Ralph has the football right in front of us. Now, big boo. Oh, you could hear that. You could feel that kick in your soul as the kick is switched across the field of play, but Mark, and we'll come back the other way for Boston. The other two teams in this group, San Diego and DC. San Diego, a team that's bounced between D1 and D2, and DC is played as high as D1 as well. And so those will be the games coming up for these two teams later today and then on Sunday.
Little extracurriculars here right in front of us on the boundary. I think it was a little more than players getting tangled up, but you're seeing the ferocity, intensity of this match, and we witnessed something right in front of us here.
Yeah.
These sides are desperate to win this game.
Yeah, especially here in the early going. I mean, these, like we said, these two teams have at least two, depending on if they make to the final, they'll have a third game ahead of them. Good mark taken right in front of us by Carrie Nolan.
There's that rhythm again from Houston. Unfortunately, a kick right there into an intercept. A kick that Houston's, that rhythms they've been playing with has been really impressive.
Nolan's the skills competition in 2019 with the longest kick. He kicked the ball 51 yards, which was the most out of everybody. In fact, I think he went to a kickoff, and I'd be remiss to tell you who it was against, but. In that particular competition 5 years ago, and one of the Australians on this team who cities that have a lot of Aussies. Houston, you wouldn't think jumps to mind, but of course there's the energy industry.
And that's those trades in Australia, so I think a fair bit come overseas with a lot of familiarity with that industry. So shout out to both of them, and man, their hard work is evident on the field, isn't it?
It is, and I'll tell you what, I've been around, and I've known Sonny and Mike. They really have not just on the field but off of it as well. It's a very family culture, and their fingerprints are all over it in terms of shaping. It's very much like the clubs back in Australia, and it's good for them. I'll tell you the story about this in a moment. As the first time I met Sonny, as the ball went down, it was a left-footed kick as this one is on the way, and that one just goes through to the left side, and that's our first Dan Estes from Chicago, who umpired at the AFL International Transatlantic Cup up in Toronto. First time he left the country, I might add, so he says. But that's the first point for Boston.
Kick in here, played on, just getting those extra meters when he's given it, plus the wind. It's right back up to midfield there for Houston.
And I was like, and he had absolutely nothing to say about that behind. So there you go. But all right, so here's my so it was at 2013 that we had nationals here, and the Lone Stars had just gotten these really cool trucker hats, and I said just in passing, I really like those hats, not realizing I was in earshot of the then wife of the then president, because Dave was president then, and. Lo and behold, at the after party on 6th Street that night, I bumped into her, and she produced a hat and said, "Here you go. I brought one especially for you."
Yeah, great people like that, and all have that friendliness about them. Starting to see the tide change a little bit here, Brian. Boston finding this wing here right in front of us, kick to kick. Starting to find spots on the field where they've got the ability to move the ball.
They are. It'd be interesting to see what the fitness level is between the two sides, as Johnson does a good job, and that will do it for the first half. Well, it's been a very cagey opening 20 minutes, but Houston has, it's been close at times, but up on the cash register where it counts, it's the Houston Lone Stars 1-2-8, the Boston Demons 1 behind.
Yeah, I'm just going to work on getting the halftime stats, first half stats up here at halftime. I think, visually, I think it's easy to say, well, the vast majority of the play was in Houston's offensive end. However, but when you peel over at the scoreboard, only a 7-point lead. There's only that one major score, only 3 shots on goal. So I think at halftime, from the Houston's perspective, very successful in terms of moving the ball and offensive pressure, but it's not translating to the scoreboard, and does that bite them in the second half?
And just a note for folks here at the ground and back at home that you can follow all the scores and stuff as it's updated. It's probably about an hour or so behind, so don't expect real-time scoring. But if you go to usafl.com/national/2024, that's our tournament central. You can catch basically all the action and everything else here as well. We were going to come back with the second half when we return. You're watching the 2024 USAFL National Championships presented by Tasmanian here on USAFL.com, thanks to Gridiron Productions.
That's all they wrote.
The USAFL 2024 Nationals is brought to you by Tasmanian, the quiet pursuit of the extraordinary. Cooper's, Australian made and owned. Cooper's Beer. Visit Austin, live music capital of the world. Aussie Sports USA, the official apparel provider of the USAFL. Qantas Airlines, the spirit of Australia. The Australian Consulate General, Houston. Three Cuts Gin. Odin Mortgage and Tax. CyberSolve IQ, the inaugural cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. And by USAFL Foundation. Play on.
Back here for the second half of this Round 1 Men's Division 2 game here on Cooper's Field. 2024 USAFL National Championships presented by Tasmanian. The Houston Lone Stars lead the Boston Demons 8-1. Brian Barish and Dan Sartbagger here with you from the Onion Creek Soccer Complex in Austin, Texas. And still going, it feels not whipping as much through the commentary position through Gridiron Productions as much, but the Demons will have it as they kick towards the Onion Creek end, and Houston kicking towards Tournament Central.
Yeah, I think this is our first real good taste of how much that's impacting this game, and really all the games to come and the one previous as well. Houston had the better bit of play, not really able to capitalize on
A hooter on this in this field anyway, but he tosses the ball to the heavens. Gravity takes effect. Second half is underway here in that you could tell players going in opposite directions. It was almost the crash and crush one more time, and we'll have a free kick. That's going way back to 1896.
You saw that collision coming, and the Houston player even apologetic. He knew he got him high, and that was an accident. But yeah, some boys applying pressure consistently in the first half.
Still trailed by 7 points. Opening minute of this second half. Ball comes back in the play. Ball goes down, going to get picked up, and then turning around, throwing that one on the left foot is the 17. I think that might be Patrick. 2 points for the D's, 1-2-8 for Houston.
Yeah, no surprise here. Come out very differently. They got that free kick off of the high contact there in the middle. Shot on goal didn't work out, but eventually we were able to collect some stuff in the middle. And there's Chance Meyer, we mentioned earlier. A kid can jump, and he takes a great mark there to help Houston build out.
Meyer in the reserves match of the 49th Parallel Cup, as he puts that one on a dime out to a nice mark over the top was Reese Burns. Burns will go quickly. With the name that he spelled, it looks like he's from straight in the middle of Cardiff. Big tackle as Edwards was taken down. Ball, said the crowd. Ball, says the umpire. Free kick for Boston. And they're starting to get a little bit more of the edge here, Sars.
Yeah, and they need, but that tackle from Boston, great in sort of stemming the flow the other direction.
And the D's, of course, if you watch Aussie Rules football, they are related to the Melbourne Demons. They have been since Houston, doing a good job of able to clear this one out. Here come the Stars up the far side now. Dallas Magpie / Dallas Dingo, and the ball is up on the far side now. Stayed with it in front of the opening, I guess now, if not soon. And of course, Nationals before, of course, their steady stream of pain to 2 behinds.
Houston finding different ways to get points. They had that rhythm, kick to kick, mark, handballs, etc. that was working for them. That time built up the far side just with balls out of bounds. Boundary throws, and they made it work, kind of gutting out until they got it into forward 50 with a shot across.
As they'll go and put this one in the back right pocket. Going to wait, now sends this one high and deep, and sending that one in. And a good mark taken in front there. By him in front was Kyle Kempka. Kempka will wait. Now he'll throw the ball onto the left boot. This one again goes down the line. Good mark, rising up and taking a mark.
34 from Boston with intercept mark after Kempka's intercept mark, so they're trading punches here.
And has players around them. Couldn't get it now. Fernandez was in there. Boston. And then turning around. Oh, he's going to get closed down. Snuck up on him, Michael Ibrera.
Probably could have converted there if the tackle hadn't slipped high.
Got out of jail there is what they did as the ball.
It's up this side for Boston. Houston switched it out the back after their after that high tackle and the free kick.
Cooper's beer tent. Off the chest there. Going to bounce away. Staying with it is Simon Craig, who like Johnny Bench was the halfback there. Still on the Watch AFL scoreboard, 9 plays 2. As we mentioned, you know, even though they're the top seed in this Pool B, SARS, you and I talked about it. Somebody called this yeah, and there's some good teams. I mean, they're all good teams, and then you throw in the Spectre. Very interesting setup. It's the highest that everybody is in.
And skills teams and decided to change,
which means they're kicking against the wind, but they're doing a good job of creating those chances. They're now creating those chances. They're now
at halftime did help out Boston some. They're getting more effective use there. Really strong contested mark there.
Done a good job of presenting. More importantly, they've had really good hands. They've present well, but also been able to execute in terms of hanging on to the football and being able to not allow their opponent in there, but Johnson was able to clear it out, looking for the high flyer on Van Bemmelen, but couldn't get to it. Villiginen, and then sent this one in, Village shoulder. That's high contact, free kick from right in front.
Right in front of us, the little sidestep, dipsy-do, some handballs, and you thought afterwards, but man, what a nice little sequence.
And it is 2 points for Boston.
But boy, they deserved it there. That's that play I was just talking about there as they were kicking for goal. What a nice little sequence, couple of good little individual efforts, some of those 1%ers as we call them.
Really now as the wind starts to pick up a little bit, they're going to need to do that as Meyer saw the ball go through his hands, even with him jumping about 10 feet off the ground. Turning with it is Reese Burns. Threw this one high up in the air. Ball gets knocked down up on the far side and trying to go after it and staying with it, and finally kicking that one forward is Village Owen, who finds the football now. And the ball goes out of bounds. We're going to have to get his pronunciation especially, and I don't know who it is, keeping an eye on who we might pick for the players of the Tasmanian player of the game, and we might have some statistics. Or Odin Mortgage and Tax.
Yeah, as you'd expect, Houston in the first half, they're 19 kicks to 11. Just pretty even in marks. I think, again, Houston had the better bit of play.
I think they're fortunate in that they still have them in front of them, but here comes another scoring chance, and this one I think has gone through the big old sticks, and it's only for Boston. It's out to a 20-point lead, Sars.
That play start. Mark was taken. He instantly curls his run around that mark, gets handballs, and the kick's going back forward. That is a fast transition. That's what got him moving forward, and they're back into
pool. We mentioned they've got DC and they've also got San Diego, but those are two can be beaten with that sort of play. So the question will be, can they keep that going over the course of the next? The ball goes in front of us once again. And that one is sent in on the way, and it's through for yet another one. 3 in a row here in the second half, and Houston is bounding away, are the Lone Stars, as they go to 4-4-28. The lead is 26 points, 2 behinds only.
That's 11. That's Jacob Johnson, JJ. Met him in the elevator last night, and I had a heads up to watch out for this kid. Former tight end, was a state champion in football. In there, nice pickup of the football. Put the ball to boot, even off the side of his boot.
Point blank ranges, and sometimes we see that. It happens in the AFL as well, and it's a lot. There was a free kick for it looks like a 5 in the square is what was called there. That's the only thing. We don't play with the 6-6-6 rule in the USAFL. We did at the Transatlantic Cup, and the reason why we don't do that here is not all the fields that are used during the course. I mean, we have these beautiful marked out fields with the turf tank and everything, but we don't cross anywhere else. And good mark taken up and going up strong to take that. We'll take a look at as he turns around. Hopefully he turns to not away from us. And he did. Thank you very much. That was Burns. And try to extend the lead. He's told to play on as this one teammate. They're taking their time here on the Lone Stars. They're milking the clock. And of course, Cooper's beer tent. Right as he kicked it, a gust of wind came up. Everything's moving around. The goalpost, the ball, everything goes into the middle. There's JJ in front. He slots it home. 2 in a row for Jacob Johnson. And that more. It's starting to be party time. They go to 5-4-34 to 1. Or is it 6-4-40? We'll double check in just a moment. But it is 5-4-34, and the lead is extending a little bit.
Yeah, glad we had the heads up on him. I was watching for him, and there he is again. So 2 goals on the day. You can tell they're well coached. Maybe just were unlucky to not hit the scoreboard as much in the first half. Boston's resilience there, but Houston started up a little here.
Yeah, and we talk about percentage. The first tiebreaker, another game coming in a couple of hours' time in a temperature that's going to be a little bit warmer, maybe about 10 degrees warmer than it is now. Do you sort of put the cue in the rack a little bit and you're not pressing for that scoreboard pressure anymore?
Yeah, it's we talked about this in a game earlier today. You know, a bit of a balancing act for the coaches. Houston probably maybe seasoned with the heat. You know, they're just up the road here from Austin. Maybe not as much of a consideration for them. The bodies are tuned to this type of heat and playing in this heat all summer, all season. So I don't know is the answer. You'd have to be in that camp and to think, all right, do we start using some of the guys on the bench, or do we keep the foot on the gas here because we may need the percentage?
We'll call it a rhetorical question. That is also very much in this particular format. It's so it can go so many different ways. Like how do you strategize for it? How do you how do you figure it out? So it is very much a guessing game, not a guessing game, but also just kind of taking a pick and how you're gonna do it. So again, 32-point lead for Houston. As we mentioned, these two teams in the same group with San Diego and DC. And I believe we'll check we'll have a look at the schedule in a little bit. But the ball is now on the far side, and really thought Boston. I think Boston really thought they would stick with Houston. I think a little bit more. It looked just in terms of the sway of play, but Houston's done a good job. But here come the Demons coming back the other way. Big knee into the back there on Johnson, and then he's going to get the free kick out of that. Nothing in that. I don't think it's just
a little bit stiff on the call there.
Yeah.
I thought he had eyes for the football, and so him going up with his knee to protect himself should be a legal play. It was a collision, of course, but that's part of our game.
Yeah, that I mean, it very much is. But sometimes you get the call, sometimes the call gets you, and we're up on the far side now once again, just checking to see when Boston, who plays whom. It's in here too.
Big cheer goes off behind us. Is it San Diego, Calgary?
No, DC.
DC.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Oh, is it Calgary?
Should be another D2 game.
21-11. DC is up. It is DC. It would be DC and San Diego would be over there.
Okay. All right, Houston building here again.
And looking to extend their lead as this one comes back in. Oh, nice mark. Ooh, good mark taken.
That's JJ again. He's
Yeah.
starting to exert himself in the forward line.
Yeah. and Jason Becker is doing a celebration for. Why is he doing a celebration?
Well, he was standing with me when we ran into a couple of Houston folks in the elevator last night, and they gave us the heads up on JJ. So Becker got the heads up that I did to watch out for him.
Looking for his third. Strides forward. Left-footed kick on the way. It is dead center. Perfect goal to the Houston Lone Stars. A third for JJ, and that is cherry on top of the delicious sundae that is this game. 6-4, 40 for the Houston Lone Stars, 2 behind, and Jason Becker is behind us, smiling like the Cheshire Cat at the moment.
We may try to get him over here to have a chat after the game. Not sure how new he is to the sport, but something he's doing really well right now is holding his space at center half forward, allowing him space to work into. When those kicks come in, he can come in and take a grab instead of having that space already crammed and crowded. I'm
thinking about on the national team, and we don't know how the national team is going to look and what some of the players are going to look like in the next couple of years. But I'm thinking what a compliment he would be to Stork McClure up front for the Revos. Or some of these other players. I think of a guy like Julian David for Sacramento, who played so well and kicked a couple of goals. Boston, well, they're just trying to make the score a little bit more respectable looking, as they have been thoroughly outplayed in this second half. As we should be hearing the whistles any moment now, and there it is, and there we go. So the Houston Lone Stars begin their Hang on.
Oh, stoppage of time. There might have been was there an injury on the boundary?
Well,
or trouble finding the ball?
Well, we'll find that out in a moment. I heard a few.
Clock stopped for some reason, but we got a free kick for Boston on the far pocket.
Sending this one, still looking for their first goal, and they're going to get it. So I think judging by
Kick after the siren.
it was going to be a
There it
kick
is.
after the siren, so they do get a goal at the very least out of their first game. But in the end, Houston just too good. The final score on the Watch AFL scoreboard, the Houston Lone Stars, 6 goals, 4 behinds, 40 points. Boston 1-2-8. It was a close game for the first half. Boston did, I think, a really good job of paring away the Houston attack. But Houston, as you said, really did well to find their way through the defense and through the wind. And Johnson, as you said, he was the key.
They're really showing some class. I think they're obviously well coached. And one, we mentioned JJ there, showing a bit of class, working space for himself, creating space for himself to go take those grabs in the forward half, and he converted 3 goals for it there in the second half. The other thing Houston did extremely well, at every other ball in flight contest around the field, they were working handballs around the back, and were able to create and generate that rebound from those moments. So we're gonna chat with JJ here. JJ, creating that space for yourself. We met you in the elevator. I had the heads up to keep an eye out for you, and boy, you didn't disappoint.
JJ, look, I mean, now is this your first nationals? Did you play in nationals before? And
Yes,
so,
sir.
hey, coming right off it, it's just like playing anywhere else, I imagine. Just coming in and how to feel out there.
It feels natural every game we play. You know, we're a good squad. We have each other's back, so I guess that makes it a lot easier. Is having a team around you. You play better. You feel better. So overall, it felt nice out there. It was really good.
Is this your first season?
This is my first season with the USAFL.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Had you played before or no?
So when I was younger, I played overseas.
Oh, really?
I got the opportunity to. Yes, sir.
Where about?
Perth.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, sir.
That's great. So you're not a complete rookie by any
Not a
stretch of
complete
imagination,
rookie. Yes, sir.
Which is fantastic. What do you think of? First of all, talk about you, because we talked about like the atmosphere and the culture that Sonny and Dave have put together with Houston. And you've played other sports. I know you played gridiron football as well.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the culture compared to what you've had in the past.
Well, so Sonny and Dave, they have my back 100%. They have everyone's back 100%. We're trying to build a culture of workers, hard workers, people that come to show up every day. That's how I kind of relate it back to football. You know, we show up, we're there working hard. We bring that same energy to every practice we play in when we're back in Houston. So it's the exact same way.
Well, I know you've got the attention of a over here possibly for the international program. That would be cool. I mean, maybe the possibility kind of, what does that kind of register on you?
Well, I've always gone on one of the highest levels, so that it would be a great honor to do that. But I'm a hard worker, and I know nothing's given to me, so I'm ready to.
As it is, JJ, congratulations again, Jacob Johnson, your
Sir.
Tasmanian player of the game. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for this particular game. Once again, repeating the final score, the Houston Lone Stars 40, the Boston Demons 8. We have more action now as we switch to Division 4. Heath Stars to take you through that one is the Fort Lauderdale Fighting Squids, Des Moines Roosters, as we return to the 2024 USAFL on USAFL.com.
The USAFL 2024 Nationals is brought to you by Tasmanian, the quiet pursuit of the extraordinary. Cooper's, Australian made and owned. Cooper's Beer. Visit Austin. Watch AFL. Stream every match. Tasmania. HBC Event Services. And by the Movember Foundation.